What's good, what is good, my sizers? We're back again with another video, and today we are at Mandalay Bay's Shark Reef and Aquarium. The aquarium is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, and they do give you an hour to look through the entire aquarium, so therefore last admission is at 7 p.m. In my opinion, an hour was plenty of time. I was able to take tons of videos and pictures, and we did not feel rushed whatsoever. Tickets do start at $29, and if you're a Nevada resident, you get a discount of $3 off adult or child admissions and combos. Children 12 and under must be accompanied by a paid adult, and then children 4 and under are free and do not require a ticket. The Shark Reef also offers annual passes and virtual reality experiences. Now, if you're still not quite sold on what the Shark Reef has to offer, well, let me tell you that you can also feed the stingrays and do shark feedings for an additional cost. Also, here's a fun fact. This aquarium has over 2,000 animals. You'll be able to see things like sharks, giant rays, endangered sea turtles, piranhas, and a Komodo dragon, which you saw earlier. My favorite part about the aquarium was the abundance of information found on the plaques throughout the aquarium about the different kinds of fish. So at the piranha station, they had an employee there to educate us about the piranhas, and before she even said anything, I looked at my friend and I was like, I really want to pet them. And then the first words out of her mouth was, do not pet them. They are not pets. You can't even have them like as pets legally. So yeah, that kind of killed the mood. So the first official Shark Reef tank that we come across has a bunch of different sharks and fish, all of different species, just hanging out. And honestly, it just reminds me of Finding Nemo, because I'm like, how are they able to all be of different breeds and just in the same tank? But then I'm like, well, I guess that's no different than the ocean. So I thought it was really cool to be able to see all these different fish just kind of minding their own business and whatnot. Also, did anyone else notice the fish underneath the coral? I don't know if they were taking a nap or what, but like there were quite a few fish that were just hanging out underneath some coral. So as you walk through the reef, every time you are greeted by a tank, you're either in a hallway, a room, or an archway. So at the very end of the aquarium, you're greeted by an archway that is just made up of all glass, and then you can see like of all the angles and fish swimming above it, next to it, things like that. It's actually a really cool view. And in one of the rooms, they even had a part of the room that was glass flooring, so you could see the sharks and the fish swim underneath you, and part of it was glass ceiling, so you could see them swim above you as well. It was pretty cool. But this next part, even better. You can seriously just pet a stingray and a shark. So there is an employee at this station giving you instructions on how to pet a stingray and how to pet a shark, and then of course information about stingrays and sharks. There's my friend petting a shark, so now I'm determined to pet a stingray and a shark. This is my first attempt at petting a stingray, and I was very scared. But you're supposed to use your index finger and just kind of put it in the water and stroke their back when it comes to a stingray, and then when it comes to a shark, you're supposed to pet the top of their head. So I was able to successfully pet the stingray at attempt number 2, but the only thing that sucks about this part is that all of the sharks and the stingrays like to hang out in the middle of the area, and you can't really reach them, so it was a long waiting game, but it was well worth it. So right next to the area where you can pet the stingray and the sharks are other tanks filled with different types of fish, and these fish were interesting because they just kept staring at me, so I was a little uncomfortable, but I mean, they were an interesting breed of fish for sure. But the coolest part, honestly, I can't even tell you what the coolest part is because I had too many favorite parts of this, but there was a tank filled with jellyfish. I've never wanted to pet something more in my entire life, and you seriously just can't even pet jellyfish. But there was also another tank right behind the jellyfish of more stingrays. And everything looks so pretty, but look how aesthetically pleasing this looks. You're telling me you wouldn't want to touch this? Because I mean, I know I really wanted to. They did have information and facts about jellyfish, and it literally says in big bold letters, do not pet or touch jellyfish, even if you see them in the wild. Anyways, moving on, next to the jellyfish was another favorite part of mine, and this was a freaking octopus. I've never seen an octopus in my entire life, and I was absolutely terrified, but I was also amazed at the same time. It was a weird emotion, but I was just glad to be there because he was on the move. He was on the prowl. So they only had one octopus in the tank. I don't know if they have multiple octopuses or not, but they only had the one in the tank along with a bunch of different starfish. And I didn't know that starfish were fuzzy because some of them looked fuzzy and then others just didn't. But this octopus did not care if you were a starfish, if you were a coral, what you were. He would put his tentacles all over everywhere. But what I thought was really cool about this part is every time he moved somewhere, he would change that color, and the fact that I was able to catch it on camera was even cooler. And then this man started walking on the glass that faces us, and you could just see like the suction cup part of his tentacles, and it was just really an interesting experience. And this is a shark on top of the ceiling window. Do you remember how I was telling you guys earlier that there's a room with a ceiling window and a floor window? Well, the floor window, you could see through it while you were there, but it's too dark to see on the thing. And then this shark was just chilling on the ceiling window the whole time. Like, he would not move whatsoever, like out of the way. He was alive and breathing and well, but he just wouldn't move out of the way. But don't worry, because they had the tank all around the room so you could see at all angles. And so I was just like checking it out because there was a bunch of sharks in this tank that would hang out like at the lower levels, and then the fish would hang out at the higher levels. And then I noticed something. So as I was looking at the fish hanging out at the top of the tank, I noticed something. Do you see that big like fish? Well, it's a sea turtle. And they had 2 of them in the tank, and this one would just make laps around the whole tank. It was really cool to see a big sea turtle like this because I didn't realize how big sea turtles actually were until I saw this one just swimming around minding his own business. So to see that with the sharks and the fish, and to see all of the species just minding their own business, I was actually shocked. It also surprised me how many sharks would swim in groups rather than separately. I mean, you have your ones that would swim separately, but most of them would swim in pairs or in threes. So I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed the aquarium. I definitely recommend it for anybody of all ages because I had a flippin' blast and I would definitely go back. And then when you leave the aquarium, you're greeted by their gift shop. But that's all I have for you guys today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you guys have ever been here or if you want to go here. And then be sure to smash that subscribe button down there while you're at it. Toodles!